going on, everybody? This is Maximilian, and it is late o'clock at night. I should be in bed by now, but you know what? It's that time for making videos, so we're making a video. Now, this is going to be the last gym leader in the Elite Four poll, so make sure you get your votes in, and make sure that at least one of your votes is Lugia, because my bias is going to win out whether you want it or not, so you might as well pretend like you had a part in it. Am I right? I'm right. Alright, so I left a couple of trainers at the end of the last episode in this gym. I think there's like one or two that I didn't beat. For the most part, I think you can get around them if you're clever enough, although, in all honesty, you want to be fighting every trainer you can, especially since the Elite Four is going to be having pretty much every Pokemon that you can imagine from level 40 to 50. So you want to have your Pokemon at least in the low to mid 40s to have a fighting chance. So, battle everybody that you can. Now, for whatever reason, and I can't think of why, they put Pryce as the 7th gym leader in this game, which really doesn't make any sense, because number one, you have the Lake of Rage subplot going on way earlier in the game, and come to think of it, that's probably more realistically right after the 4th gym leader, and secondly, his Pokemon are just not nearly as difficult as Jasmine's are, and in terms of power or just pure stats. Jasmine's Pokemon are all of an average higher level. Her Pokemon have much more powerful attacks. They're much more resistant to your attacks. Like, all in all, Jasmine's Pokemon are just much more rock solid than Pryce's. But for whatever reason, they just labeled him as the quote-unquote 7th gym leader. Like, the one where you get the 7th badge. It makes no sense to me, but I figured I'd just stick it in the chronological order that they did, so I stuck it out, went to Jasmine first, beat her up, which took a couple tries. You didn't see them all on camera because no one likes to see me lose, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys would like to see me at least just totally choke at least once, but I figured, for the sake of completion and for maintaining my perfect record, we're gonna leave the bad stuff out there. So, we're gonna fight Pryce now, and this took me way too long to figure this out. I didn't actually even think about this, I guess, constructively for a while, or critically. I just kind of bonked around and figured, well, eventually I'll hit it. The whole monkeys will eventually type out works of Shakespeare, conundrum, or whatever. But then once I started looking at something and realized how this was laid out, like, oh wow, this is stupendously easy. I am dumb. And got to Pryce really quickly. So, Pryce really only has two good Pokemon. The Seal that you'll fight at the beginning is a pushover. There's really no reason you should have trouble with that. The Piloswine knows Blizzard, which can be a problem if it hits and you don't have a Pokemon with a high defense. And then there's also the occasional chance that your Pokemon will freeze solid, although I have not had it happen to me yet. Something you should keep in mind, though, is that Blizzard will still do a lot of damage, regardless, and at some times, even though Blizzard has a very low accuracy rate, at least it's supposed to, for whatever reason, the Piloswine just seemed to hit it with me every time that he threw it at me. So, yeah, apparently Piloswine never misses with Blizzard, which kind of sucks. But, I mean, it's a level 31 Piloswine. There's really no reason why you shouldn't have trouble with that. Just keep in mind, though, that Piloswine is also a ground type, which means electric moves don't affect it. I kind of found that out the hard way. Oops. Yeah, it's been a while since I played. I forgot about it. My bad. So I tried to Thunder Wave it and just time-walked myself. Fortunately, he missed the first time, but after that, he was just Blizzard City, throwing ice at me from every which way. Really don't know why it's an ice Pokemon. I mean, I guess it's like the whole woolly mammoth frozen in ice thing, but where is that thing going to get any kind of ice whatsoever? Doesn't really make any sense. Whatever, it's just my opinion. If you throw enough Quilava at it, eventually it will die. That's basically the philosophy for this gym. Except for, well, there are the occasional people with dugongs and seals, which gets annoying because they're also water types, which means that your Quilava is useless and prone to dying at any moment. But you can remedy that with that awesome Flaffy you have in your party, hopefully, if you've been following along with the same Pokemon that I've been selecting. As a quick little note, I originally thought that Flaffy evolved at somewhere in the mid-30s. It actually evolves at level 30, which is awesome, because while Ampharos is, well, pretty slow, and that's generous calling it fairly slow. I mean, it's really slow. It's got a rock-solid body on it. It's got great defense, great HP, and its attack stat is really good, as well as its special attack stats. So you can just take hits like a monster, and you can keep dishing out the fury. So go ahead and pick yourself up an Ampharos if you haven't yet, because really, that guy's one of the most underrated Pokemon in the whole game. It may take you a little while to get there, especially if you went the route I did, where you went and got the level 6 Mareeps way back by the Ruins of Alph, instead of getting them by the Lake of Rage, where you should have gotten a mid-teen level Flaffy. Oh well. I kind of regretted that, but totally worth the investment. Absolutely worth the investment. Kind of like the whole Magikarp thing in Red Blue, except not nearly as difficult, because you don't have to wait 20 levels for it to be able to fight back. So there's Pryce. The old pushover can't fight at all. So he's going to give you a badge and a pretty awful TM in my opinion, because Icy Wind has such a low damage, at least from what I can gather, that, at least, and also from what I observed, that it doesn't really make a difference. It's just a gym leader TM for the sake of being a TM, kind of like what Psywave was in original Red and Blue. It's like, wow, you beat the gym leader with the best Pokemon type, and you get this crappy TM that doesn't even typecast. Yeah, really dumb. Although, to be fair, Bide was worse, because Bide was terrible. You sat there for 2 turns and hoped that they didn't kill you. I cannot think of a worse way to possibly try and fight a Pokemon battle. Anywho, we need to go on to Pokemon, the Pokemon Radio Tower in Goldenrod City, as Professor Elm just called you and mentioned that, oh crap, Team Rocket's doing a takeover. And for any of you guys who are actually paying attention to the storyline, you see where this is going here? They tried out the radio experiment in Mahogany Town, the Lake of Rage, and now they're going global. Yeah, that's right. They put some thought into this one. You know, it actually sounds like a legitimate storyline for an antagonist. Whatever. Alright, go to the radio tower, where you find a plethora of awful trainers. Yay! Don't you love it when you get free level grinding? Without having to do any work, the game just says, here, come here and beat me up. No, beat me first. And you get all these rocket trainers with these pitiful Raticates and Rattatas, which do no Hyper Fang, and Hyper Fang sucks, but at the same time they also have things like Zubat and Grimers and other useless Pokemon that you can easily defeat, assuming that you're not using Bayleaf, because Bayleaf really sucks against Poison-type Pokemon. I mean, really, really sucks. Hence why it's not the starter that I would have chosen had I actually had to make a choice in the matter. But, I mean, you got that whole other party to take care of that, so it really shouldn't make a difference. If you have no trouble plowing through this at this point in the game, then, well, you should probably go level grinding and or get some better Pokemon. Because the Rockets are freaking pushovers, and it's awesome for you, not for them. Now, the rest of this episode is just me beating up the rocket traders that are on the next couple floors. And by next couple floors, I actually mean the next floor. So, I haven't completed the Goldenrod Radio Tower. We will finish that hopefully next episode. I really don't think it takes that long. At least I hope it doesn't take that long. It's been a while since I played this game, so I might be forgetting my time frames here. Like, Silphco was monstrous because it was a 10-floor building, but I'm pretty sure the radio tower is not that tall. So, I will take care of that next episode, but in the meantime, what I would like you guys to do is, if you could, follow me on Twitter. I know I've said that way too much, but please do if you are using Twitter, so that way I can keep up with you guys, and you can keep up with what I'm doing. We can get on Xbox to do something, because I've been working quite a lot recently, and I'm going to need to unwind sometime this weekend. And since it is the 4th of July, it's technically a federal holiday, which means I don't have to go into work on Monday, which is kind of awesome, because even though it's technically summer, so it's different than school, you kind of look forward to the weekends and you cherish them and you don't take them for granted anymore. So when you get a 3-day weekend, man, you savor it. So the 4th of July weekend, I'm going to be having some family come into town, and I'm probably going to be going out of town for a day or so after we go to the lake, but I will be back on Monday, and I'm telling you, I'm going to get so freaking lazy that day. I'm not going to do anything. I mean, I may go out late at night and blow stuff up, but for the most part, I'm going to try and play as much Xbox as I can. So, just follow me on Twitter if you could, and I will post up some tweets in there letting you know what I am doing, blah, so you guys can join me. Hopefully by then, I stress hopefully, because if not, it would be a huge problem. I will have gotten paid, so I will have the new map pack for zombies, and we can play some Shangri-La. Yeah. And for what I've seen from the map so far, from various gameplay, it looks really, really cool. Can't wait to try it out. The multiplayer map packs couldn't care less about, but man, Shangri-La looks like a blast. So I'm probably going to be on there a lot on the 4th of July. Now, also, if you haven't already, go ahead and check out the other link in the description. I've kind of been plugging him a lot too, but he really does deserve the credit. My friend Mitch has been making all the intros for these videos. He also did the background for my channel, and he made my avatar, and he's just an absolutely amazing graphic artist. So, if any of you guys have any graphic needs, or just want to check out his stuff, because he also makes some pretty cool Call of Duty videos too, go ahead and check out his channel. His link is in the description. You guys will love him. Now, back to the video. I'm trying to raise Bayleaf as much as I can here. Like, I know at this point it kind of seems moot, just because, you know, he's a couple levels behind the rest of the party anyway, and honestly, I really don't care for Bayleaf. But the thing is, I don't know, spoiler alert, even though you guys are voting on this poll one more time, I think there may be a chance that Meganium may end up in the last of the final 6, I guess. I want to say final 4 there, but it's not 4, it's 6. I'm a huge college basketball fan, so it just instantly comes to mind without even thinking about it. Almost had a Freudian slip. So, Meganium may end up being in our final party. Not quite sure yet. It's all going to depend on these last couple of episodes, last couple of polls, so to speak. But I think what I'm going to do is, since this is the last poll episode, the last gym leader poll episode, I think what I'll do is I'll make another one of those Elite Four party videos at the end of the next video. I'll go ahead and post up a little slideshow letting you know who's going to be in the Elite Four party and who just missed the cut. Yeah, if you remember last time, Alakazam missed the big dance, which was a darn shame because, I mean, it was a freaking Alakazam that I worked so hard for and ended up corrupting my save file to get, but man, he was so good, and you guys just could not vote him in. You had to have Lapras, didn't you? You had to have one. Gosh, I hope you're happy. I'm just kidding. So, we'll see who misses the cut. I know for a fact Lugia won't miss the cut, but I'm pretty sure you already figured that out too. We've got a couple who are just absolutely clear-cut, definitely going to be in there, and then there's like a humongous 5, 6, 7, 8-way tie for like the last spot or 2. So it's going to be pretty close. So please make sure you vote for your party on this poll, so that way I might actually have some definitive ones and I won't have to do tie breaks or anything like that. I think what I ended up having to do for the red one was I had to do a tie break for the last 2 spots because I had 3 that were tied for the last 2 and I had it determined randomly. And sadly, Alakazam was cut. So I guess technically it wasn't completely your fault, but I mean, come on, you did play a part in it. Like, you can't deny that. So, yeah. Hopefully we won't have like a massive 5-6-way tie, because that's kind of what it's looking like right now. And I'd really prefer for you guys to pick the party and I wouldn't have to like cast the dice for it or something. Just because it's much more definitive, it's much more clear-cut, and we don't end up with these random janky parties that might happen to have like 3 of the same type of Pokemon, or some Pokemon that just like really doesn't seem to fit with the party or really isn't that good. Because I know you guys are kind of trolling me with the Lapras again, and I get it, haha. Well, Lapras might not be so bad, but I really don't want to have like 5 water Pokemon on my party, because that would just be really, really dumb. I know they're good and all, but you gotta have variety. Diversity is really what counts in this game, and I really would like to have a well-balanced party going into the Elite Four. Also, I'd like to keep it interesting, just because it gets really boring when you're doing nothing but surfing over the Elite Four the whole time. Even though, in theory, you probably could, because there really isn't anything out there that can stand up against you. There's Psychic, which you could easily beat. There's Fighting types, which do some have Rock subtypes occasionally, which you can easily beat. There's Dark, which you can also beat with Water. And what was the other one? I want to say it was Poison, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it was Koga. but I'm not sure. So yeah, you could basically run over the entire Elite Four with Water-type Pokemon. And then Lance at the end also has Dragon types, which aren't resistant to water, which means, yeah, you could just basically run over the Elite Four with a party of water Pokemon, but I'm not going to do it. We're going to keep it diverse, we're going to keep it interesting, and we are going to keep it colorful. So, thanks for tuning into this episode. Thanks for playing along with my plugs, and I know that's getting probably really annoying. But stay tuned for the next episode when I announce the final team.